At our wedding reception, my sister-in-law grabbed the mic to announce, "I'm pregnant and wanted to reveal this with all our loved ones here." That's when her husband stood up and said, "Let's first figure out who the father to your child is, then worry about the announcement." The entire room went silent as he pulled out his phone to show everyone photos of her cheating with another man. But this moment was just the spectacular finale to years of her trying to destroy my relationship with my husband Jack, not knowing I had the financial resources and professional connections to end her manipulative games permanently. I'm Maya, 25, an architect with a master's in urban planning from one of the top universities in the country. My annual salary of $120,000 plus consulting fees puts me in a comfortable position most people my age don't enjoy. More importantly, my work in urban development has connected me with lawyers, financial advisors, and private investigators across the city. A network I never expected to use against family until Jack's sister Kylie forced my hand. Jack and I met 3 years ago when we worked in the same office complex on different floors. He was immediately different from other men I'd dated, thoughtful, genuinely kind, and refreshingly honest about his complicated family dynamics. Unlike my supportive teacher parents who encouraged my academic pursuits, Jack's immigrant parents had spent his childhood systematically favoring his sister while treating him like a disappointment. The pattern had been established early and cruelly. While Kylie received grand birthday parties, expensive gifts, and constant praise for her academic achievements, Jack was told his parents were ashamed of his grades. He needed to work harder to earn basic parental attention. When college time came, they delivered the ultimate insult. They could only afford to pay for one child's tuition, and naturally they chose Kylie. Jack had to secure scholarships and loans while watching his sister coast through university on their parents' dime. "You're clearly not the intelligent one in the family, so you need to just suck it up and sacrifice for her sake," Kylie had told him during that devastating conversation. The words broke Jack's heart and severed his relationship with his family for years. When Jack finally introduced me to his parents, their reaction revealed everything about their values. The moment they learned about my academic background and professional success, their entire demeanor changed. They became warm, attentive, almost desperate to reconnect with their son through his accomplished girlfriend. It was both gratifying and deeply sad. They respected Jack more because of my achievements than they ever had for his own qualities. But Kylie's arrival at that first family dinner changed the entire atmosphere. She'd been given no warning I'd be there, which immediately put her on the defensive. When her parents began bragging about my career, her mask slipped completely. She started with subtle digs about urban planners, murdering trees, and escalated to suggesting I should pay for everyone's lunch since I earned so much money. Her parents immediately shut her down, but the damage was done. I'd seen her true nature. A woman so threatened by anyone who might diminish her status as the golden child that she'd attack them publicly. That should have been my first warning about what was coming. Over the following months, Kylie's obsession with me became impossible to ignore. She was always the first to view my professional social media posts, but never interacted directly. She'd found old photos of me with high school boyfriends through extensive stalking and shared them in our family group chat. She demanded I ask my ex to remove inappropriate pictures. When Jack defended me, she exploded, calling him names and storming out of family gatherings. The breaking point came when she sent Jack a message saying he should find someone with better standards. That's when Jack revealed something that clearly devastated her. I earned more than 4 times her graphic designer salary. Kylie worked for a small firm making around $28,000 annually and still lived with roommates because she couldn't afford her own place. The truth about our financial disparities sent her into a rage that ended with her blocking all of us and disappearing from family events. For several months, we heard nothing from Kylie. Then came the shocking news. She'd eloped in Vegas with Isaac, a man 13 years her senior, whom none of us had ever met. Through Jack's investigation of Isaac's social media, we discovered the disturbing truth. Isaac had been married when he met Kylie at work. Their affair had destroyed his first marriage, leading to a bitter divorce that cost Isaac significantly in settlements. Kylie had hidden this entire relationship from her parents because she knew they'd never approve of her marrying an older, divorced man, especially one she'd stolen from his wife. The elopement was her way of presenting them with a fait accompli they couldn't reject. A few weeks after her marriage, I received an unexpected text from Kylie requesting dinner to work everything out. Against Jack's better judgment, I convinced him we should give her a chance. The dinner at Isaac's expensive home revealed Kylie's true motivations. She wanted to show off Isaac's wealth, his modern house, expensive cars, extensive collectibles. She made sure I understood she'd never have to work again now that she'd landed a rich husband. But what started as bragging quickly turned invasive. Kylie began demanding details about when Jack and I would marry and have children. When I mentioned we didn't want kids, she erupted, screaming about my duty as a woman and threatening to turn Jack's parents against me. The dinner ended with Jack and Kylie in a screaming match that severed their relationship completely. This year, Jack proposed at our favorite restaurant and we began planning our wedding. Despite years of evidence about Kylie's manipulative behavior, Jack's parents convinced us to invite her for family unity. I agreed on one condition. They had to guarantee she wouldn't cause a scene. They promised to handle her, and foolishly, I believed them. 2 months before our wedding, fate handed me information that would prove crucial. While shopping for ingredients to make Jack's favorite meal when he was sick, I spotted Kylie at a coffee shop in a part of town far from where she lived. She was with a young man who definitely wasn't Isaac. Closer to her own age, with brown hair, holding hands, kissing, acting like infatuated teenagers. I took photos before she could notice me, my hands shaking as I documented what was clearly an affair. When I showed Jack the evidence, we faced a difficult decision. Isaac deserved to know the truth, but confronting Kylie would create massive family drama right before our wedding. Jack made the choice to tell Isaac man to man. Isaac's reaction was devastating. He was grateful for the information, but revealed something that made everything worse. Kylie was pregnant, and they'd just discovered it. She'd been planning the perfect moment to announce the pregnancy to their families, never knowing that Isaac now understood the child might not be his. The combination of infidelity and pregnancy created a powder keg situation. Isaac asked us to stay quiet while he decided how to handle the betrayal, and we agreed. We had our own wedding to focus on, and frankly, we hoped Kylie's problems would stay far away from our special day. Our wedding day began perfectly. The ceremony was beautiful, our families were happy, and everything seemed to be going smoothly. During the reception, my parents gave a touching speech about their pride in my achievements. Jack's father thanked me for bringing their family back together. It was exactly the celebration we'd hoped for. Then I spotted Kylie moving toward the microphone as Jack's father finished speaking. Something in her expression triggered my warning instincts. I'd already briefed my bridesmaids about the possibility of Kylie causing problems. This included instructions for the DJ to cut the microphone if necessary. When Kylie grabbed the mic, nothing came out. The DJ had followed my instructions perfectly, but instead of taking the hint, Kylie realized she'd been deliberately silenced, and her reaction was explosive. She climbed onto her chair and began screaming about how I was a bridezilla who wouldn't let her speak at her own brother's wedding. "I had an important announcement," she shrieked to the confused crowd. "I'm pregnant and wanted to reveal this with all our loved ones here." The room fell silent as guests tried to process this bizarre interruption of our celebration. Kylie smiled, expecting congratulations, but instead found herself facing her parents' mortified expressions and the crowd's uncomfortable stares. That's when Isaac stood up, took the microphone from my maid of honor, and delivered the words that would destroy Kylie's life. "Let's first figure out who the father to your child is, then worry about the announcement." The silence was deafening. Kylie's face went white as Isaac continued, his voice steady but filled with pain. "It's true that Kylie is pregnant, but I am not the father of this child." He pulled out his phone and began showing pictures to Jack's parents. Photos of Kylie with her young lover, evidence of an affair that had been going on for months. Isaac explained that he'd become suspicious of her behavior and hired a private investigator. He never threw Jack and me under the bus for providing the initial tip. Kylie sat frozen as her world collapsed around her. The guests began whispering among themselves, and Jack's parents looked horrified as they scrolled through the photographic evidence of their daughter's betrayal. The wedding reception had become the public destruction of Kylie's reputation. Jack seized the moment to address his sister directly. "Get out of our wedding," he said firmly. "I'm embarrassed to be related to someone like you." Kylie burst into tears, clinging to Isaac's arm as he gently but firmly removed her hands. They left together, Isaac to gather his belongings and file for divorce, Kylie to face the consequences of her choices. The rest of the reception was awkward, with guests more interested in discussing the Kylie drama than celebrating our marriage. But in a way, it was perfect vindication. Everyone had witnessed exactly who Kylie really was. A manipulative woman who would try to steal attention at her own brother's wedding, only to have her lies exposed in the most public way possible. Over the following months, the consequences for Kylie multiplied exactly as she deserved. Isaac filed for divorce immediately, and since we lived in a fault-based divorce state, Kylie's adultery meant she received nothing in the settlement. No alimony, no assets, no financial support from the wealthy husband she'd thought would solve all her problems. Isaac revealed that Kylie had begged to keep at least one of his expensive cars as a keepsake, but he refused. The young man who had gotten her pregnant wanted nothing to do with her or the child. This left Kylie completely alone and financially desperate. She tried moving back in with her parents, but they refused to enable her behavior any longer. Jack's parents, finally seeing Kylie's true nature, cut her off completely. When she showed up at their door begging for help, they turned her away. The golden child who had manipulated them for decades suddenly found herself with no support system, no money, and no options. Meanwhile, my career flourished without the constant stress of Kylie's manipulation. My architectural firm promoted me to senior associate with a salary increase to $145,000. My consulting work expanded significantly. Jack and I bought our first house, a beautiful property that we could afford comfortably, while Kylie struggled to make rent in a shared apartment. The threatening emails Kylie sent from fake accounts only provided more evidence for Isaac's divorce proceedings. Every angry message she wrote became documentation of her unstable behavior. This strengthened Isaac's position in court and ensured she'd receive no sympathy from judges or mediators. 8 months after our wedding, Isaac's divorce was finalized. Kylie lost everything. Her marriage, her family's support, her comfortable lifestyle, and her reputation. She was left as a single mother working a low-paying job, exactly the kind of struggling situation she'd always looked down on others for experiencing. Jack and I remain close friends with Isaac, who has thanked us repeatedly for revealing the truth about his wife's betrayal. He's since moved on with his life, while Kylie continues to face the natural consequences of her choices. The woman who spent years trying to sabotage my relationship with Jack ended up destroying her own life instead. Her jealousy, manipulation, and sense of entitlement led directly to losing everything she valued: money, status, family support, and respect. Sometimes the best revenge is simply letting people's own behavior catch up with them, especially when you have the resources and connections to ensure the truth comes to light.